All right, so the big powers in real estate are at it again, fighting a fight that I'm not sure is totally necessary. Um, Zillow has partnered with Keller Williams, United Real Estate, Home Services of America, and Remax to offer a preview, access to Zillow Preview, which is effectively what Compass is doing with their website, and they have partnered with Redfin and Rocket. So, as a baseline, I hope we can agree on one thing. If you're selling your home, you want as many buyers as possible to see your property immediately. This is simple supply and demand. The higher supply of buyers that can see your home, the higher potential number of buyers you would have your home and matches for your home, which should equal more demand for your home, more likely offers, better offers, so on and so forth. I think this is common sense. Anybody who argues this, I don't know. I don't have anything to say. To me, these are simple market economics. For those of you who haven't been paying attention, Compass has been fighting with Zillow, and so Compass partnered with Redfin, who's a competitor of Zillow, to put some of their pre-market listings and their Compass exclusive listings only on Redfin and hold them off of Zillow because Compass wants to compete in that domain. Well, now Zillow has turned around and they've formed a partnership with Keller Williams, Remax, Home Services of America, and United Real Estate for something called Zillow Preview. Zillow Preview is a public pre-market platform that allows listings to appear on Zillow and Trulia only before they go active. At the end of the day, this is a battle for search traffic. Compass wants to build a website that they can have a ton of search traffic so they can monetize those leads. Zillow has the biggest real estate web portal in the world. They're already monetizing those leads. This is what everyone is fighting over. Having a website, to tell you how valuable this is, having a website with tons of traffic is more valuable than having 300,000 real estate agents. And if you don't believe me, just go look at Rocket paid for Redfin, $1.75 billion, and Redfin barely had any real estate agents. And look at what Compass paid for Anywhere Realogy. They paid 1.6 billion, so 150 million less for a company with 300,000 real estate. Real estate agents are not as valuable as web search traffic. They're just not. It's more overhead. It's more to deal with. Whereas selling leads and charging referrals for leads is an incredibly lucrative business. Compass is now the biggest real estate brokerage in the world. They're currently worth half of what Zillow is worth. And Zillow is just a website. At one point, Zillow was worth, in the $40 billion range. Compass, by acquiring the second biggest brokerage, is now worth like 6 or 7. Sorry, pun intended. Actually, pun not intended, but I just can't stop because of my kids. But either way, it's crazy. So Compass aligned with Redfin, and Zillow's now aligning with these other brokerages, and they're just all fighting over these things. Now, the irony of all this stuff is all of these companies, Keller Williams, Remax, Home Services of America, United Real Estate, they've all come out, some of them incredibly vocally, some of them just not as vocally, but they're all on the side of free flow of information. Oh, we all want a free flow of information. We want listings to be everywhere. We don't believe in private listing networks. We don't believe in all that stuff. In fact, 1 hour ago, as I make this, there was posts on Keller Williams' social media feed, and I'm sure others as well. This is the post. If listings marketed as off-market are now being displayed on one of the largest home search platforms in the country, the idea of private listings at scale becomes harder to sustain. Once listings are widely visible to the public, they are in essence no longer private. This is talking about Compass. The market itself appears to be reaffirming the simple truth that exposure matters. We believe an open market serves consumers the best. Sellers should have the opportunity to reach the broadest pool of potential buyers if they choose to do so, because competition benefits the home seller. At the same time, sellers should retain to set the parameters around how their home is marketed. The bottom line is real estate markets work best when homes are easy to find and buyers are free to compete. So it's kind of alluding to like, hey, we need to share all these listings everywhere. But Zillow, the godfather of real estate, apparently made them an offer they couldn't refuse. And so now they're participating in this Zillow Premier thing or whatnot. Effectively, you can put your listings on Zillow and truly a first. So they don't go everywhere. It's pre-market listings. Exactly what Compass has been arguing that they should be able to do is pre-market listings and not share them everywhere. Now, Zillow has made a situation where people can do the same thing on Zillow, and they're inviting their select group of brokerages to do that, and Compass is fighting the other side. Either way, these big, huge companies are basically playing a game, and the game is who can dominate search traffic and who can align with the company that is dominating search traffic if they can't do it themselves. So they can monetize that search traffic with the selling of leads or the buying of more leads or preferential lead buying or whatever is going on behind the scenes, whatever else. Either way, none of it's in the best interest of the consumer, which is the problem here. Having fragmented information where the customer has to go to multiple places to find listings to search for is bad for the consumer. Having one website that completely dominates search traffic, aka Zillow, and generates leads and sells those leads for huge fees to teams and brokerages with the expectation that they charge huge fees of that client and the expectation that they steer that client to their mortgage division so they can further monetize that client, all without the client having any notice or any heads up at all that they are being fed through a system. That's problematic. I think, and all these things have been alleged in lawsuits. I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening, but I'm saying like that's where the breadcrumbs are leading to, and all these things are being alleged in lawsuits, and everything that I can see leads me to believe that that's probably true. So none of that is in the business is good for the consumer. A consumer having to go to a bunch of different places to find the same information is not good for the consumer. At the end of the day, who's going to win is AI. In order to generate a lot of real estate search traffic, the only way you can do it is to have a lot of listings on a publicly available, public-facing website. Like, nobody's going to go register with your site, or at least not a lot of people are going to go register an account on your site to view your pre-market and private listings. They're just not going to do that. That era of the internet is gone. Okay. What's changing is everybody wants to keep their listings on their site or their allied team members' website in this war. And whether you're Compass with Redfin or those other brokerages with Zillow, everybody's trying to pick this team and say, oh, we're going to only send our data to this site or that site. AI is going to win. And let me explain why. I can go onto AI right now and create a search, and AI will search all of those websites and show me exactly what I want to know. I don't have to go to each one of those websites. Never have to. All of these brokerages, I mean, they had these high morals of everything that should happen, but now everybody's fighting. Now everybody's in a war. And they're literally, in my opinion, call me crazy, in 5 years we might look back and say, man, Grant was an idiot and he was totally wrong for all this. But effectively, all these companies they're fighting with lawyers and money and all this stuff and alliances, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They're fighting over all these things for who's going to make the best VCR, because it doesn't matter. AI is going to win. If you don't believe me, instead of going on one of those websites, do a real estate search, go to Gemini or Grok or ChatGPT and ask them to do a real estate search for you. The more this information gets fragmented, the more that's what people are going to do, because AI is going to be the only place where they can literally search all of those websites in one place. AI is going to be the only place where that's possible. AI will search a million websites for you and give you all the information that you want without ever visiting those sites. What I'm getting at here, this huge fight doesn't matter. It mattered 5 years ago. It really mattered 10 years ago. But it doesn't matter today. And it's going to matter even less in the future. I went on ChatGPT and I said, hey, show me houses from this price point to this price point in a certain school district. Did it like that. I can say, hey, I only want to see houses from $300,000 to $330,000 within 3 miles of a Whole Foods. Do it like that. I don't need to go draw on a website. I don't need to go create a very specific search on Zillow or Realtor.com or Redfin or anywhere else. I can ask ChatGPT to do it for me, and it does it like that. And then it asks me, would you like for me to keep you regularly updated for other houses to get listed? Yes, I would. I ask it, will you give me the listing agent's name and cell phone number on these properties that I'm interested in? And it told me, absolutely. It actually said to me, here is the actual listing agent for these properties, and here's why you might be seeing other people's information. That's a syndicated lead routing noise from other portals. That's what ChatGPT referred to this as. Because if you go to Realtor.com or Redfin or Zillow, a lot of these listings from other companies are there, but they hide who the listing agent is. They hide everything else. It literally said that's just a syndication lead routing noise from those portals. The true listing side MLS listing agent for this listing is this person from this real estate brokerage, and here's their cell phone number. And then it says, if you want, I can now, literally reading, pull 10 to 20 homes like this with verified listing agents plus their direct phone numbers. I can filter, I asked it to search for the past 15 years, homes. It says I can filter to 2010 plus builds, flood zone X only, specific subdivisions, or even flag which agents price aggressively versus letting their listing sit stale. It offered me to do that. Just tell me how tight you want the data, is what it said to me, and gave me a thumbs up. Why would anybody use anything other than this? And if that's the case, then unless you own a massive AI portal like Grok or ChatGPT or Gemini, which if you're watching this, you probably don't, or unless you own one of those websites that's getting huge traffic, but that traffic is going to start going like this. Don't get me wrong, the traffic will still be there on those websites, but the traffic is not going to be a human being clicking speak to an agent. The traffic is going to be AI searching your website for the data to give the data directly to the consumer. AI is never going to click speak to an agent. You can't monetize AI as it filters through your website. So you might think, if you belong to one of these brokerages, you might think your brokerage is being clever about putting their listings here versus there or making some other choice. But at the end of the day, none of these companies are going to own ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok. All they're going to do is they're fighting a fight that's becoming less and less valuable and less important every single day as people become more and more reliant on AI. AI is going to search for exactly what you want and then tell you the listing agent's name and cell phone number. If you want to compete, if you're an agent and you're watching this, if you're a broker and you're watching this, if you're trying to compete in this playing field, there's only one way to compete. Be the listing agent. There's a reason why those companies were listed. I haven't looked it up yet, but the reason why Zillow talked to HomeServices of America, Keller Williams, RE/MAX, and United Real Estate, they got a lot of listings. There's a reason why Compass acquired Realogy and Anywhere and brought in all those agents. A lot of agents means a lot of listings. There's a reason why all these companies are waging war with listings. It's just listings. Listings are what matters. Your website, that website can be searched and run through by AI faster than you could even think about it. So trying to dominate web traffic is going to be less and less important. Do you have what people are looking for, which is listings? That's the only thing as agents and brokers that we can control and we can monetize. And if you're not focused on that, you might be having your focus placed in the wrong area. Have a great day.